Okay, so now we're going to move on to looking at some long addition. And this is a really great method of adding together some really big numbers with no calculator really easily. So I've got an example right here. So in this one we're going to add up 18,913 plus 4,327 plus 18 plus 4 plus 513 as well. So you might look at this and think, oh, there's no way you can do this in your head, and neither can I. So that's why we're going to use long division to do this with no calculator. So the first thing we're going to do is have to write them down in the correct way. So let's start with the biggest number then. So the biggest number is 18,913. Write that one down. And the most important thing about this method is writing all the other numbers in the right columns. So if we break this number down at the top, then we've got our units on the end, we've got our tens, we've got our hundreds, we've got our thousands, and we've got our tens of thousands as well. And what we do when we write these other numbers down, we have to match up numbers into the right columns. So the next number then, we'll have 4,327. So we'll have 4,000. So we write the 4 in the 1,000 column. 300, write the 3 in the 100 column. 20, so 2 tens, we write 2 in the tens column. And 7 as well, so we'll write 7 in the units. And we'll do the exact same thing with all the other numbers. I find when I'm doing this method that it helps to write the numbers in order. So the biggest one at the top, smallest one at the bottom. So the next number we'll put in is the 513. So we'll put 5 in the hundreds, 1 in the tens, 3 in the units, 18, so put 1 in the tens, 8 in the units, and 4 as well. So put a 4 on the end. And we are adding these together. So in this method then, what we're going to do is, the first thing is to add up all the numbers in the units column. So that's all the numbers on this right hand side of the sum. So let's go ahead and do that then. So we start off with 3, we'll add 7 to it, so that becomes 10. 10 plus another 3 is 13. 13 plus the 8 becomes 21. And 21 plus the 5 becomes 25. Sorry, 21 plus 4 becomes 25. So with the 25 then, obviously we can't fit two numbers into one slot here at the bottom. So what we do is we take the 5 from the 25, we put the 5 here. And with the 20, what we then do is carry that over to the next column here. So in our case it was 25, so we'll put the 20 into the tens column. Because it was 20, it was 2 tens, so it's the 2 carries over into the tens column. Then what we do is we do the exact same thing in this column as well. So just like we did in the units column where we added them all up, we'll do the exact same thing in the tens column. So start with 2 this time, because we've carried that over from the units. So start with 2, add 1 becomes 3, add another 2 becomes 5, add 2 more 1s, 5, 6, 7. So we then put a 7 in the tens column down here. And we'll just repeat this method for every column in the sum. So we'll do the same thing here. So we have a 9 plus 3 becomes 12 plus 5 becomes 17. So now we've got a number that's greater than 10. We'll do the exact same thing as we did in the units column. So the sum here was 17, so we'll put the 7 here and we'll carry the 1 over into the next column. And we'll do the exact same thing here as well as we did in the tens. We'll start with the 1, we'll add the 8 becomes 9, add the 4 becomes 13. So once again we'll put the 3 in this column and carry the 1 over. And this is the last one now. We've got 1 plus 1 becomes 2, and we'll put the 2 in. And that is it. This is our answer. So now looking at this, the addition of all these numbers is 23,775. And it is as easy as that, guys. If you lay out the numbers in the right way, just like this, you can just add up lots of small numbers. If you have a number greater than 10, you carry over the 10 into the next column, and you add them all up again, and you just keep going until you get to the end, and then you're left with your answer. Okay, so now we're going to look at how to do some long subtraction. So for this example then, I've chosen 7,385 minus 4,608. So how do we do that then? So just like we did for long addition, we're going to write them out in roughly the same way. So we'll write down 7,385, and we'll then write down 4,608 in the exact same way we did before for addition, lining up the units, tens, hundreds, thousands all together. So just like how we did from addition then, we'll start off in the units column, and we'll do it, rather than adding, we're going to start subtracting. So first one then becomes 5 minus 8. So of course 5 minus 8 gives you a negative number. It gives you minus 3. So in this method we can't have negative numbers when we're doing this. So instead what we do is we borrow a 10 from the next column. So what we're going to do here then, we're going to cross out this 8 and we're going to turn that into a 7. And that 10 that we've borrowed, we're going to put right in front of the 5 here, so it becomes 15. So now what we've got is 15 minus 8. So 15 minus 8 is 7. So we're going to put a 7 in the units column. And that is it. That is it for the units. So we're now going to run over to the next column then. So we had an 8 before. That's now crossed out. We've now left with our 7. So we've now got 7 minus 0. So 7 minus nothing is still 7. So we're going to put a 7 in the tens column. Moving over to the next one then, we've got 3 minus 6. Again, 3 minus 6 will give us a negative number, we'll go below 0. So just like how we did on this example here then, we're going to do the exact same here. We're going to cross out the 7, change that to a 6, and we're going to borrow that 10 and put it right here in front of the 3. So this now becomes 13. We now have 13 minus 6, and that also gives us 7. So 7 here again. And we're left with one more number now. So we'll have 6. We crossed out the 7, that's now a 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. And that's it, we've run out of columns, no more numbers to subtract. So whatever number is left here is our answer. So the answer to 7,385 minus 4,608 is 2,777. I hope that made sense to everyone. The main thing to remember when doing long subtraction is this borrowing method. If you get an example where, just like we had here, 5 minus 8, if the lower number is bigger and it makes it a negative number, you have to borrow the 10 from the next column along. As long as you remember that, guys, you'll be able to get this right every single time. And just something I also want to add on this as well is that it works exactly the same for decimal numbers as well. So for example, if you were subtracting 73.85 and 46.08, this might look like a really hard sum, but it would work exactly the same way. So what you would have had to do is you'd write 73.85 in the top, and you'd write 46.08, and you'd do it in the exact same way. So you do the 5 minus the 8 is 7, borrow the 1, you would then do the 7 minus the 0 is 7. Decimal place would stay in the same spot in the whole column, and then the answer you'd eventually come out with is 27.77. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this video really useful on long addition and subtraction. This is part 2 of 3 of Maths Fundamentals. So if you want to go back to part 1 where we covered the number line and adding and subtracting and doing all that with negative numbers as well, go and watch that one. And if you want to move on to part 3 where we'll go over some long multiplication and division, hopefully you'll find that really useful too. So go and check out those videos. Thank you very much.